welcome or welcome back to the channel. And in this video I'll be teaching you guys how I was able to draft and sew this Queen Annie neckline bustier dress. If you are interested, keep watching and don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Let's get right into the video. So for this dress, I'll be needing this net fabric that I used, the main fabric, my tape, my ruler, my marker. I'll also be using this interface and a padding for this tutorial. So if you have all your materials, let's get right into the video. The first part of the dress that I will be drafting is going to be the front piece first. And for the front piece, I went ahead to mark out my shoulder point, my chest line at 7.5, my bust point at 9, my under bust at 12, and my full length at 16. I went ahead to draw a line across those points like so. I labeled all my points. After leveling all my points, I went ahead to place my shoulder measurement divided by 2 on my shoulder line and on my chest line, just so I have a straight line from my shoulder line to my chest line. After that, I'll be going in on the shoulder line by 3 inches and I'll be marking that point. And on the straight line coming down from the shoulder point, I will be coming down by 1 inch. That is to mark out my shoulder slope. The next thing I'll be doing is to mark out my armhole curve, and to mark out my armhole curve I'll be measuring the line and dividing it by 2, and on that midpoint I'll be going in by half an inch. I'll be using my curve ruler to make a curve touching the half inch at the midpoint, the chest line and the shoulder slant. And to place my dart, I went ahead to mark my nipple to nipple measurement, which is about 3.5 inches. I marked it on the bust point, on the under bust point, and on the waistline, and I went ahead to join those points with a straight line. I'll be extending the dart to the shoulder point, measuring out my shoulder slant and dividing it by 2. I'll be marking out the midpoint on that shoulder slant, and I will be joining the line from that midpoint to the bust point to meet the nipple to nipple measurements there. Now to take out my dart, I will be taking out 1 inch on both sides at the waistline and also 1 inch at both sides on the under bust line, and then on the bust point I will be coming down by half an inch. I will be joining the line from the waistline to the under bust with a straight line, and I will be using a slight curve to join from the under bust to the bust point line like so. After doing that, I'll be marking out my new neckline, that is the Queen Annie's neckline, and to mark that out I will be making a slight curve from the midpoint of that armhole towards the chest line, just somewhere below the chest line, because that's how open I want mine to be. So you are going to have to play around with this particular neckline. If you want it to be deeper, you can go deeper, and if you want it to be less revealing, you can also come up a little bit. On this new neckline, I'm going to be coming out on both sides by half an inch, and I'll be drawing a curve towards the bust point like so. After taking out the dart from this new neckline, we are going to be making some adjustments, you guys, and there are 2 methods that you can use to do it. I'll be using the 2 methods and I'll be showing you the error with the first one. This first one, you are supposed to measure the 2 darts, and for these 2 darts I have 4 on this side and 3 on this side. That's the difference is 1. So I'm going to be adding that 1 inch to this point, right? Now let's fold in this point. Are you seeing that there is still a difference? There is still like shortage of fabric there. So the second pattern is just fold in your dart on the paper and use your marker to trace out that point where the dart meets like so. This way is easier and you don't go and start making extra mistakes. If this works for you, this works for me better. So I just decided to show you guys the two and also give you the option, but this second option is a better option. Hold in your darts on your paper and use the marker to trace it out instead. So I'm going to go ahead to finish off my neckline by drawing a slant line from the tip of the shoulder to the second part of the dart, and this is what I have. Okay, I'm going to go ahead to place my horizontal measurements, and for the horizontal measurements on the bust point I'll be placing my bust measurements divided by 4 plus the sewing allowance of about 1.5 inches. I'm also going to be placing my under bust round divided by 4 on my under bust. I'll be replacing the darts at that point, and I'll also be adding my 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So this is what I have. On the waist point I'll be placing my waist measurements divided by 4, replacing my darts and 1.5 inch sewing allowance, and at the end of the day, after joining those points, this is what I have. Don't worry about the shape of the sides. By the time I'm done taking out my darts, everything is going to make sense. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out pattern. So first I cut out the center front, I cut out the yoke part of the neckline, and I also went ahead to cut out the side piece of the front pattern. So yes, this is what we have. Take out that data there because we will not be needing it. Okay, after doing all that, this is what I have for the front piece. I'm going to go ahead to label it so that I don't get confused. So this is the yoke, this is the center front, and this is the side front. We are going to go ahead to draft the back piece of this pattern. For the back piece, I'm going to be using the excess pattern paper from the last one, and here I'll be marking my shoulder points, my bust points at 9, my waist point at 16, and I'm going to also be marking my chest line at 7.5, and this is all we need for the back piece. I'll be placing my shoulder measurement divided by 2 on both the chest line and on the neckline. Basically repeating the same thing I did for the front pattern, just so that I can get my armhole area. I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch to get my shoulder slant. I'm going to find the midpoint, coming by 1/2 inch, and I'll be joining those points, and that's everything for the armhole. Now on the chest line, I'll be placing my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, that's 3.5, on the bust point and also on the waistline. On the waist, I'll be coming out on both sides by 1 inch, and I'll just draw a slant line from that point to the chest line on both sides. And this is what I have. I placed my bust measurements divided by 4, replaced the darts, and also added my sewing allowance. On the waistline, I placed my waist round divided by 4, replaced the darts, and added my sewing allowance. I joined those lines, and this is my shaping point. And yes, this back pattern is not going to be having a zipper, that's why you are not seeing a zipper allowance there. I'm going to go in on the waistline by 2 inches, going in on the chest line by 1.5 inch, and I'll be drawing a slant line from that point to the waistline. I'll also be identifying where I want my loops to be. After identifying it, I'm going to be drawing the neckline of the back, and I just want it to be a slant line meeting the chest line, and that is all for the neckline of the back piece. I'm going to be cutting these pieces out real quick, and after cutting it out, this is what I have for the back piece. I went ahead to slash open the yoke parts because I want the yoke to just start on that chest line. So I went ahead to cut out the yoke parts. The next pattern we'll be drafting is going to be the skirt part of this dress, and we'll be drafting it directly on the fabric. So I went ahead to fold my fabric into 2, and then after folding it into 2, I folded it into 4. That means I folded it again, and on these pieces I'll be cutting out both the front and the back part of the skirt part. Notice that I left about 1.5 inches on the second piece because that's going to act as the zipper of this skirt part. So let's get right into the drafting. For the full length of this skirt, the full length of the dress is going to be 60. So I'm going to be placing 60 at the hem part of this dress because I don't want to cut out the hem or fold it in, and then I'm going to come up to point 15 and make a mark because it is a dress and we'll be joining it to the top part. I marked my hip point as 24 and my knee point at point 38. Now I'm going to be placing my horizontal measurement. I'm going to be starting from this fold that is inside, and I will be placing my waist measurement divided by 4, and I'll be adding my sewing allowance. I'll also be placing my hip measurement divided by 4 on the hip line, neckline, adding my sewing allowance. For the knee point, I'm going to be placing my hip measurement divided by 4 without any allowance, and I'll also be taking down that same measurement to the hems, and I'll be drawing my curve like so. And this is all we have for the skirt point. I did not want the skirt to have any darts whatsoever because the fabric I'm working with is a little bit stretchy, so I went ahead to cut it out. The next thing I'll be cutting out is my sleeve. You can use any sleeve of your choice. So I want to do the funnel sleeve. I'll be using this old pattern that I have to cut out my sleeve. So if you want to learn how to cut a basic sleeve, you can check out my channel. The link will also be in the description on how to cut out a basic sleeve. From that basic sleeve, you can cut any other type of sleeve you want. So for this particular dress, I will be using a funnel sleeve. So I went ahead to place this old pattern on the fabric, and I went ahead to cut it out. So these are all the patterns we cut out in this tutorial, and I have my front piece, that's my center front, which I cut in a fold. I have my side front, I have the yoke of the back and also the yoke of the front, and I also have the sleeve and the skirt part of this dress. I cut the center front in a fold, and I cut 2 pieces of the side front and the yoke, and also for the back pieces I cut 2 pieces for each side and 2 pieces of the yoke as well. And I also went ahead to cut out my sleeve in a fold and the skirt that we drafted and cut out in this video. And if this would help you, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more twin tutorials, and I will see you in the next video where I will be joining these pieces together. Bye.